Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you how to use keyboard avoiding views in your React Native apps. I'm using Expo today just for the ease of setup, but it will work in any React Native app. So I'm going to want to import this keyboard avoiding view. Basically, the keyboard avoiding view means that if you have the keyboard show up on screen, it doesn't sort of cover what you have showing in your app. So basically, if there are any buttons that are where the keyboard would show up, it doesn't hide them. It sort of just condenses the screen up a bit more. So I'm going to have a text input so that my keyboard avoiding view will show up. Just going to surround in a safe area view because I want my text input not to show up within the outer edges of my iPhone display. If you have an iPhone, you may notice there are some areas which it doesn't really work to have components showing up. So a safe area view will help you solve that issue without having to set specific styling every time. So I want a text input which is going to have a value which I'm going to create in a minute called input value, and a function that will set that input value called set input value. So I'm going to use React state for that. So I'm importing React from React, and this is how I'll set up the state. So input value will be state, and set input value will trigger the re-render if the text changes. So I'm using state, and I'll pass an empty string to start. Also going to give my just going to show another component on screen as well, just to sort of show you that both components will move out of the way of the keyboard view when it comes up. And I'm going to add a placeholder to my text input just to sort of make it easier to see where it is. And I'm also going to add some styling for that same reason. If you don't add styling to your text input, it's not going to be very easy to click on because you're not going to sort of be able to see its bounds. So just adding some quick styling here. I've sped this up because it's not overly important what styling I add. Cool. Now we want to add our keyboard avoiding view and copy our UI elements that we want to avoid the keyboard into that keyboard avoiding view. So you want to set the behavior property of the keyboard avoiding view, and it seems that different platforms seem to have optimal different behaviors. So in general, I have found that the suggested ones from the React Native documentation are the best, but you can have a play around to see what suits you. So if it's iOS, I'll use padding, and if it's Android, I'll use height for my behavior. So now I'm just going to run my application, and when it loads up, you'll see a text input on screen. When I click on that, that should move out of the way. Okay, so I click on my text input and it moves up out of the way of the keyboard. And when I close that keyboard down in a second, so yeah, when I close that, you can see that the input and the text above it move and change position. So I hope you've found this useful. I use it quite a lot in my apps. And if you did, please like and subscribe for more content.